Hey, everyone, of course, welcome to the next edition of Forum Bites. We're back for episode 7 of the Trifecta series, back again with Todd Palmer and Chuck Bender to talk everything Trifecta and forum-based. Now, of course, in today's episode, we're going to talk about what does a Trifecta need to look for in a member to know that they're actually happy with their EO membership. Now, I know this, of course, is naturally a tough one, but Chuck, let's start off with you, mate. What do you think primarily is one of the biggest measures that we can use for, I suppose, the Trifecta to see on the members to see that it's a successful process or they're actually finding their membership worthwhile?
Well, I think in all things, the outcome of renewal is probably the one KPI that is clear, right? They took an action step of staying in the organization. And to me, that is the one metric that matters the most. Everything else should feed to that metric one way or another, in my view. So, I think if I were measuring the success of a Trifecta, it's going to be retention rate.
Now, is that retention rate of the new members? Is that retention rate of tenured members? Or is that just retention rate full stop, do you think?
Full stop.
Full stop.
Full stop. I think you have different strategies for different, you have a more engaged strategy for brand new members because there's a ramp, there's a learning curve there. Okay. But I definitely believe that, there's a time in my life when I was going to leave EO. It was about year 9, 10, So, and I think that they engaged the right strategy, obviously, because I'm now 10 more years into the organization. Yeah. But I think that we just have to be mindful that members are. We have to be mindful that it's a volunteer choice that they're making to be a part of our organization, and that means being in touch with them and understanding what they're looking for and making sure that we're providing it.
And the one thing I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of Trifectas, and that when you bring up the idea of turnover, some people have the reverse argument where they use, sometimes turnover is good. Some people sell their businesses or they need to move on, and I get that, and I think people leaving for the right reason is okay. But primarily what I agree with you, Mo, when it comes down to retention, in other words, someone sees value in the organization, so therefore they see it worth paying for and renewing. I'm the same as you, and I'm sort of the same from the point of view of I nearly left EO, exactly the same thing, because I found that my value was dropping, and I thought perhaps I wouldn't necessarily stay in. Maybe I'd outgrown it. But it's funny, the more that you get engaged, the more you get the value. Like, for example, things like this here. But Todd, what are a couple of things that you think are a good way to measure whether someone's happy with their membership?
Well, I think you guys are making some great points already on that. And I know, I think I'm the third member of the trio who was at one point going to leave EO. And it's getting re-engaged, which is really strategic. I know when I was considering leaving EO, I really felt kind of on an island. I felt kind of forgotten by the chapter I was participating in. Very engaged in my forum, and I had done Birthing of Giants, which is now EMP, and I was now part of the Gathering of Titans. So I had points checking in around the globe within the group, but I felt that ultimately there may be other things I could do with my time because I wanted to make an impact and I wanted to leave a legacy. For me, my forum mates challenged me, if that's really what you believe, those are your core values, then why don't you lean more into the uncomfortableness and the frustrations you're feeling and see what change you can be? How can you be an agent of change? So for me, it was, I was feeling disconnected. So I had to double down on it. Either I'm going to connect or I'm going to leave. I decided to connect. I decided to get more engaged. And when we look at measurements, I got engaged more on a regional level, more on a bigger scope, going to GLCs and other things. And I hadn't done those before. And I hadn't done those before because in that stage of my life, I had young children at home and I wasn't able to do that. I had this window where I could, and instead of, checking out, we checked in. And really, it just dawns on me, one of the biggest challenges my forum put together, because we all thought about leaving at the same time, is, hey, we're going to do a Hail Mary pass. And all of us took our retreat and we did it at a GLC. So it was a lot of different pushes and pulls, but we weren't engaged, maybe all of us weren't engaged as a collective. That's my tribe, my internal tribe to the bigger tribe. Second, it was my thought process around it. Third, I had the outlet of, the Gathering of Titans. I could go do that every year and stay connected with like-minded individuals, lifelong learners, etc. But ultimately, what everybody kind of pushed back in, and what was my part in this? What did I bring to this, and what did I want to get out of it? when they tapped into that legacy play, that turned everything around for me. And that was, gosh, I don't know, 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
It's funny how the journey can be. So I was EMP, same thing, and Chuck and I actually met at EMP. But obviously, engagement, that's how you stay engaged and also why you renew, I suppose. But what can the trifecta actually do? Chuck, you can go first, mate. What can the trifecta actually do to find out whether the member actually is engaged?
Well, there are tools that are available in the chapter to figure out whether what types of things they're attending, right? So are they involved in leadership? Are they involved on a committee inside the chapter? Are they a member of the board? Are they involved in bridge forum or expanding their community? Are they involved in MyEO? And I think the trifecta just needs to be aware of that, right? What are their involvement? What is the level of involvement? Are they just a forum member and they're not doing anything else? If they are just a forum member and they're not doing anything else, that actually for me becomes almost a red flag, because if they have one bad forum experience, that's the only thing holding them in the community, right? So to me, EO is about community, and it's about tailoring, and it's about a number of communities, right? I have my community that's my regional community. I have my community are my global friends, people I met like you all around the world. You and Todd both. I mean, I met Todd in Toronto, or not Toronto, in Niagara Falls at a Trifecta summit.
Beautiful place to meet.
Yeah, it was. But and I have my community inside my chapter, and I think it's just understanding that our role is to help foster and strengthen communities and help people be connected to communities, whether it's their forum or whether it's a group of people with like-minded interests. A golf club inside the chapter is a reason people will stay involved in the organization. So to me, measuring just connection to community, whatever that community is going to be a real key to try and figure out whether you have a problem or not, whether someone's happy or not. If they're connected to all these communities, then there's a pretty good chance that they're pretty happy. This has become a part of their life. It's not a thing they do, right? And that's a mind shift, where people who've been in EO for as long as we have, this is not just a thing we do. This is our tribe, this is our community, it's our family. These are the people we hang out with. I think sometimes it's just contemplating, what does it mean to be a member forever? Like, what does that mean? You just ask the question, because things I'm asking about now in my forum aren't business related. I'm asking, how do I transition an adult child to the rest of the way of adulting, right? It's a different conversation, but I'm with people I trust to have that conversation, who aren't going to judge me for being a terrible parent, right? Those are the things that I'm looking for, right? So long answer to a short question.
No, it's an important point you made there, because it's the amount of in other words, if the trifecta can look for the amount of connections the member has with EO, and I see connections within EO as sort of like anchors to the organization. As you said before, if you've only got your forum, you've got one anchor. If it breaks, they're gone. But if you've got MyEO forum, they're on global leadership, they're meeting everyone there, they're doing different things within EO. Even if one anchor fails, they may have 4 others to hold them in the organization, which I think is a good point. Todd, what other things do you think the trifecta can look for, or what can they do to try and ascertain someone's happy with their membership?
Well, I think part of what they can do in the trifecta process is share all these different tributaries off the main river. What else can we be part of? How else can we do it? And share from experience. I know that I got into Birthing of Giants, a long time ago, because one of my forum mates was going to do it. I'd never heard about it at, the chapter level. And if there's things that we can do at the chapter level to pass that knowledge on, I think it'd be outstanding. If you want to continue to keep tenured members engaged, for example, at the trifecta level, maybe we should invite some of those tenured members to come and tell tales from the cliff to the chapter from a Zoom meeting perspective. Share it with accelerators. Get them re-engaged. Let them do a knowledge share. I think it's really wise to be able to connect that way. In regards to the incoming members, it's like we talk about the path of leadership once. It's like checking a box and we move on. talk them through it, revisit those conversations, especially, we're the three people who are going to really see that next rising star in the chapter. Maybe encourage them a little bit more. It's almost like sports recruiting. Hey, I see, Rod, you have some great skills and abilities. I'd really consider, why don't you come along with me to a board meeting? Let's see how this runs. What do you think? And then afterwards, let's go to breakfast. Maybe you can make an impact there. It's so much more valuable when someone else sees greatness in us than we just think we're great ourselves. And if we can champion that, pass that legacy on, that can shift everything.
And it's something which I do point there for we are training the next leaders, because it is such a proud moment which happened in my member integration time, is the person that you brought into the chapter, you helped integrate, becomes president years later, which is exceptionally good thing. And the only thing I would say to the Trifecta to try and do to make sure they can understand whether people are actually happy with their membership, I suppose, is physically go and ask them. I mean, literally. Like, okay, turning up to learning events. Some people are really busy. I'm not saying that's not a measure. It is, but some people are really busy. Some people don't have time to be in leadership roles or anything. Their business might be at such a stage where they've got to focus 100% on that. They squeeze in their forums. It's really important. They've got no other time for anything else. I get that. But sometimes when you go and see them in the forum experience, or go and see their forum, or just follow up after they've been put into their forum, they've had, 12 months and so on, and just asking them the question, not are you enjoying forum or are you enjoying EO? Everyone just says yes, even if they mean no. I mean, the question I believe you should ask is, tell me about the value you're gaining from your membership.
I love the open-endedness of that. That is huge. So I think people, we want to get along. We're just going to give you the don't bother me again. Yes, of course, I'm happy. And then I don't renew.
Correct. And it's, how's it go? Good, return. If you ask them about the value and they have to think about it, there's your first red flag. If then they only have one answer, then there's another red flag. And then at least you have a reason to start asking more questions, which I know always follow up. The thing is, what can we do together, or you or me individually, to add more value to your membership? What do you need? And it could be anything. I've had everything from I need different learning events. When I said, have you tried international? Have you tried GLC? Have you tried this? I need a different type of experience in my forum. Okay. Have you spoken to your moderator? You can move forums, those conversations. And it always starts with the value, but you cannot do that over a questionnaire. I'm not saying don't do your questionnaires. Questionnaires are awesome to get a gate. You do that. But if you truly want to know whether someone's getting value, you do it face-to-face and you ask a simple question. And just watch what happens, because you can usually tell. Let me rephrase. When we get out of this COVID-19, do it face-to-face. Maybe do it over Zoom right now. I wouldn't tell them when to get sick. But it's easily the best way to do it. And just ask them a simple question. What are you getting in value? So, boys, anything else to add?
I think you nailed it. I love that, just face to face, looking someone in the eye. That's what kept me in when I was about to go out. Right. I think the other thing is that this recognizing there's a different strategy for people who've been around for a long time. So maybe someone had been super engaged and they're not in the leadership anymore. And I think with EOers, I think with people in general, and it's probably a big reason I'm involved in this, is somebody asks you for your opinion. Oh my gosh, that's like manna from heaven. Let me share my opinion, right? So getting tenured members involved and asking them to share their experience, and that is a key way for keeping those guys. Give them a job. Let them contribute.
I love the give them a job thing. And I think it's so key for people who've been around for a while. I think we're, by and large, most EO members I've ever met are lifelong learners. They're contributors, they're seekers. And part of that is that hero's journey we take as early EO members. If I can be the champion and the guide of someone else's new hero's journey, why not create a mentorship program? I love the Navigator. I still keep letting that go resonate through my head. I wish more chapters had that, because if we can connect, and it's a way to champion that new member's journey, be a participant in that. It's so key. And I love the idea, and EO is really good about, hey, you're a new member. Let's get you on a board. Let's get you on that track. There's nothing wrong with reaching back into the history books here and bring guys like us back into board roles, because we don't want to overwhelm people and throw a lot of opinions. But if you want to come to us, it's almost like ball players. You always want to go to the grizzled old veteran and ask them what it was like back in the days before electricity and we just had dial-up internet. Well, now we can be of service and help and pass along some of those stories, because so many boards are reinventing things. So many members are trying to make an impact, and a lot of the stuff's been done. Let's go back and help those out. So I think from a Trifecta perspective, reach out into the community and see who's not engaged, who's not coming. Take the time, 15 minutes, call them on the phone, especially now during this time, because we have the time to talk.
Correct. Mate, it's a huge point, because funny enough, to reiterate the boards, I have an annual lunch with past presidents of the chapter. We get together with the incoming president. And by the way, some of these ex-presidents aren't EO members anymore. They've sold their business, they've moved on. They were some of the original founders. And the whole lunch is primarily around the new president being able to tell the ex-presidents what their plan is, and then to gain experience based on that. That's it. Mm-hmm. And which seriously is a huge thing. And I think it's a perfect way to end off our 7th episode. So as always, if anyone has any questions for these two experts or yours truly, just leave in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed already, either to our podcast or the YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button now. And as always, we three will see you in the next episode.